the food from our land weathers the same conditions that we're up against. You know, these plants and these animals are in our environment, and so they are equipped to get us through that. Over the last 10 years, developed a very deep relationship with the plants. It was 2 winters ago, I spent the winter in New Zealand with Jan Schofield. She was the author of Discovering Wild Plants. She lived across Kachemak Bay at Rocky Point outside of Homer for almost 40 years, and she lived off the land in a very secluded environment. And so she developed an acutely intimate relationship with each one of the plants. And with my time with her, she shared with me how to be with them, and just different ways of being quiet with the plants and different ways to read them. Also, other things that aren't necessarily poisonous but can be very harmful. This is horsetail, also known as scouring rush. It's an interesting thing. It's one of the oldest plants, over 350 million years old. Used to be the size of spruce trees. At this point, it's not edible. When it's much younger, this is getting a little on the old side. You can see the branches are still pointing up. This is edible. This is not edible. What happens, it develops silica, and it has enough silica in it. If you're to eat the plant at this stage, it would be enough to tear up your kidneys, and you could really damage yourself. This is Angelica. This is another member of the Umbelliferae family. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I thought that was pushki with small leaves. It's a different type of plant. Angelica is one of the most, I'm going to say this about everyone. Every one of them is one of the most amazing plants I've ever come across. The skin rejuvenating qualities that it has, I've used it in lotions and stuff too, for faces, and I've seen people's wrinkles soften. And it's interesting that it's called Angelica because they almost have a more angelic look. This is my favorite as far as aesthetics go. The wild geraniums, they're absolutely beautiful. The flowers are edible. They make a wonderful addition to salads. Just, the first bite is with your eyes. So eating something beautiful is just as beneficial as something that's good for you. The leaves. Salmon berries are one of the most amazing plants to combat infection. We had a kid out at a summer camp. He had a motorcycle burn on his knee that he'd had for about 4 months, and it wasn't healing. And we chewed salmonberry leaves, stuck it on his knee, taped it up, and within half an hour, the paper towel that I'd put on top of the leaves was completely soaked. And then 3 days later, the red puffiness was gone, and it had receded 3/4 of an inch.
They used rhubarb for drying, fever. I remember one time she wrapped my feet up in with rhubarb leaves when I was really sick. I was fever. I think I had the flu or something. I was in bed, and she wrapped my feet up with the big rhubarb leaves because they're poisons to eat. You can't eat that, and put thick socks over that, and just kept them there till the next morning. And when she came and she took them off, those were just crisp. The rhubarb leaves were just crisp and dried. Really, yeah. And I felt a whole lot better. I mean, it's just really good.
The thought that nature knows you far more than you know nature. And so by paying attention to what's in your immediate environment is often what you need the most of, because we are very well provided for on this planet, absolutely. People just don't know anymore how to access that care that we're given. Kang